Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me? Okay, great, thank you. It is a pleasure to welcome you on this spectacular Friday afternoon to the Early College and STEM Scholars 2022 Honors Research Colloquium to share in the remarkable work and achievements of some truly remarkable students and faculty. And it is now my pleasure to welcome the indefatigable Dr. Lucy Love.
For many years, I have joked that following Provost Latimer is always a hard act to follow because she is so eloquent. Today was no exception. I want to welcome you to the second STEM Honors Summer Research Colloquium. As Honors Chair, I could not be more proud, and I look forward to continuing to grow both STEM scholars and early college honors to give the amazing students we have at Montgomery College the opportunity to engage in meaningful scholarly work. And now we will turn it over to the students. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Before I introduce our first speaker today, those of us involved in honors would like to take a moment and thank Provost Latimer for her continued support of the honors program and STEM scholars. So thank you, Margaret. We appreciate it. Our first speaker today is David Soussana. He's an early college student in biological sciences here at the Germantown campus. So welcome, David.
Hello, everyone. Aging is a topic many people, including everyone here, is probably interested in, and if not, I might make some of you interested in it. So let me introduce you to aging through time. There are two main types of theories of aging, program theories and damage theories. Currently, these two understandings have been combined to form a unified theory of aging. And because the aging process contains many intricacies, more advanced research methods have been developed to learn about aging. Indicators of aging can help to form an outline of what occurs in the aging process. This outline has a variety of possible use cases in areas such as research and development, the medical industry, and even the insurance industry. People have been interested in aging for thousands of years. Around 400 BCE, in the time of the Greek philosophers, Plato differentiated aging from disease. Although now people are rejoining the two because aging is now considered by some to be a disease. Modern research in humans, mice, and single-celled organisms was initially completed around 100 years ago. These scientists were studying mortality rates of these organisms with the hope of learning about the aging process. These researchers found that as organisms age, they increasingly have a higher mortality rate. After this finding, more scientists became interested in researching how to slow aging. In the graph, you can see how in recent years, there are more older people and fewer younger people. This trend is due to many populous countries such as the United States, China, and Japan being below replacement level fertility. This means that as people get older, there are few younger people to replace them in society. The immortal jellyfish, scientifically known as Tortopsis dohrnii, is able to, after reaching adulthood, become a younger form of itself. So instead of dying, it can continue living. Because this jellyfish is the only known organism with this ability, it is known as the only immortal animal. A genetic mutation found in an Amish community in Bern, Indiana, caused them to have a life expectancy around 14 years longer than people in other Amish communities. The people in those other communities have a life expectancy of 71, which is around 14 years shorter than the life expectancy in that community in Bern, Indiana, which has a life expectancy of 85. After many years of research, it has been found that the aging process's effects on people's physical ability are largely the result of defects in the several metabolic pathways. Since the aging process occurs over many years, cellular macromolecules with rapid turnover, such as RNA and proteins, have been ruled out from being the causes of the defects. As scientists searched for other potential causes of the defects, they found DNA to be a potential candidate. This is because DNA changes much less over the course of an organism's lifespan, aside from mutations such as those caused by UV radiation and epigenetic changes, which are when genes are turned on and off. In addition, mammalian cells, mitochondria and the nucleus are the only organelles possessing DNA. That is why damage to the cells of an organism has a high potential of affecting the aging process. Caloric restriction, as you may have guessed, is restricting how many calories you eat. This, what could be called a diet, maintains proper nutrition and consistently decreases the biological rate of aging, in addition to increasing both average and maximal lifespan. Intermittent fasting accomplishes the same goal as caloric restriction and could be considered a method of caloric restriction. Intermittent fasting is also able to slow aging by cleaning up and recycling damaged components of the cell. Aging has become a much more widely studied subject in recent years in the scientific community, and as I mentioned earlier, it is now being suggested by some to call it a disease. The evolutionary senescence theory of aging states that traits which affect an organism before they can reproduce are more likely to be affected by natural selection than organisms that affect traits that affect an organism only when it is older. This would make it a program theory of aging as opposed to a damage theory of aging. For example, people's eyesight usually get worse as they age, often becoming more farsighted, and this often occurs after when they would reproduce, so this trait would not be affected by natural selection. Life expectancy has increased throughout the world in recent years, largely due to medical advancements such as a large decrease in child mortality, more knowledge among the public about nutrition and hygiene and health in general, and the widespread availability of medical treatment. Senescent cells that are found are cells that are found more often in people as they age because after dividing, many times the cells are no longer able to divide, but they are not killed off. To continue living, senescent cells release chemicals that can trigger inflammation, although this seemingly negative side effect is not all bad. These chemicals, known as the senescent secretome, are involved in various stages and processes of people's lives, including embryonic development, childbirth, and wound healing. Furthermore, the compounds these cells produce can be used by researchers to assist people in a large detrimental side effect of aging, which is the slowing of wound healing. There are currently various methods for slowing aging. The following are a few examples of tested methods. Metformin is a medication used to treat diabetes that also mimics the effects of caloric restriction, which, as I mentioned earlier, has anti-aging effects. Resveratrol is a medication most commonly used to treat high cholesterol, cancer, heart disease, and many other conditions. It too, like metformin, mimics the effects of caloric restriction. Nicotine mononucleotide. Nicotinamide mononucleotide is a protein that has been able to suppress age-associated weight gain, enhance energy metabolism and physical activity, improve insulin sensitivity, eye function, and mitochondrial metabolism, and prevent age-linked changes in gene expression. Yamanaka factors are a group of proteins that control how DNA is copied for translation into other proteins. The Yamanaka factors have also been shown to reverse epigenetic factors, which are a reason we age. Sirtuins are a group of proteins which are a potential candidate for slowing aging. This is because sirtuin activity is linked to metabolic control, apoptosis, otherwise known as programmed cell death, cell survival, development, inflammation, and healthy aging. Telomeres are caps at the end of chromosomes that protect the DNA inside the chromosome and prevent the ends of chromosomes from fraying. Unfortunately for us, telomere length shortens with age. Progressive shortening of telomeres leads to damage to the chromosome and can even lead to the death of a cell, which is called apoptosis, which can affect the health and lifespan of an individual. If people want to try to prevent this shrinkage, they can eat a plant-rich diet full of fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins. people can also exercise and be physically active, both of which decrease oxidative stress and inflammation in the body, thereby helping to protect the telomeres from damage. The future of aging involves connecting people with robots and computers. Life expectancy is expected to increase in the future. Research done about the potential of life expectancy has found that humans' lifespan will likely continue to increase, possibly even to a lifespan at birth of 100 years by 2060. This may be possible because life expectancy has not showed signs of slowing down, and in fact, these rates of improvement would appear to be rising rather than level. A major factor that likely played a key role in this increase in expected life expectancy is how the modern medical system has been able to prevent many deaths that used to occur when children were young, whether it be by one of the numerous diseases that there are now vaccines for, or simply death during childhood. In addition, other advancements in health have helped increase life expectancy, such as more public knowledge about health and the availability of health information. An example of this is the now widespread knowledge that tobacco use can cause cancer. Robots are becoming more like humans every day now and will be even more similar in the future. Currently, however, people do not like associating human characteristics with robots, which is usually robots looking like a person. In the future, this dislike will need to change so more robots can be integrated into society. The hope is to eventually turn humans into robots so there will be no more of a need to eat, sleep, or be fearful of disease. Humans would therefore no longer have to worry about the many effects of aging. Transhumanism is a movement concerned with exactly this issue: how to improve human life with robotics. To continue living in another body or a robot, the brain would need to be somehow transplanted into that new body. Mind uploading is the hope to eventually scan a person's brain into a robot or computer and allow them to continue living past when they would biologically die. A lot of computer power would be required to accomplish this task because of how powerful the human brain is. The human brain contains 86 billion neurons and more than 125 trillion synapses just in the cerebral cortex alone, meaning that there would be a lot to transfer. Some scientists have thought that transferring the human brain to a machine would require the dissection of the brain into pieces. However, this mind-uploading dilemma may have a more plausible solution. Some have suggested that merely a brain scan would be sufficient to capture all the data needed to upload a mind into a machine. After the brain is scanned, all the data it contained would need to be converted to information a computer could work with. This data could take up a lot of space, and as stated in a journal article in Scientific American, the memory storage capacity of the human brain could be around 2.5 petabytes, or 2,500 terabytes. That amount of storage alone is around 1,000 times more than a typical computer has, not to mention the amount of necessary memory and processing power. To meet these high demands, Tom Bartle, a neuroscientist at the Salk Institute, estimated that the human brain would require around 1 gigawatt of power, or basically a whole nuclear power station, to run one computer that does what our computer does with 20 watts of energy. In addition, if consciousness were also to be transferable, possibly as a substrate-independent mind, it would require a world of its own to interact with, possibly being something like the metaverse, which is being developed by Meta. Transferring the brain and all the data it contains is, however, not everything. There would also need to be other infrastructure for the brain to run on. For example, in a virtual world like the metaverse, or into a network of artificial brains connected to each other in a swarm. This virtual world would have to act like the real world and replicate in reality in everything from tasting a soda to feeling the pain of a car accident. This would, of course, also require a lot of power to run, because it would be creating a whole world for not just one brain to want to run on, but many others too. However, the The human brain could continue to exist in the real world by existing in a robot that functions just like a human, although such a robot would require much more capabilities than any existing robot. Once we reach this goal, we will have solved the most interesting problem of them all: how to escape death. Thanks for listening, and here are my references.